All right, so today, let's take a deep dive into a case that really highlights the intersection of forensics and psychology.
Okay, sounds good.
You sent me all this material about the Lululemon murder in Bethesda
Oh, yeah.
from back in 2011. And, you know, I can see why this case got so much attention from the media.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're not just going to rehash the story.
No.
We're going to go deeper.
Right. We're going to examine the evidence, the psychology.
Yeah, and what makes it so fascinating.
Exactly.
So imagine for a second.
Okay.
It's March 12th, 2011.
Okay.
You're the store manager at Lululemon.
Yeah.
And you're arriving
Yeah.
to open the store.
Uh-huh.
And the door's unlocked. There's merchandise everywhere.
Okay.
Mannequins knocked over.
Hmm.
Already not a great start to your morning.
Not at all. No.
And then you hear a moaning coming from inside.
Oh, my gosh.
You follow that sound and it leads you to the back hallway.
Yeah.
And you find Kayna Murray's body. It's a truly horrific discovery.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse,
What?
the other employee, Brittany Norwood, is found in the bathroom,
Okay.
bound and injured,
Mm.
appearing to be a victim herself.
Yeah.
Initially,
Here.
her story seems to line up with this chaotic scene.
Okay.
She claims that two masked men attacked them
Uh-huh.
and then fled.
Okay.
But that's kind of where the pieces stop fitting.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
Oh.
The forensic evidence tells us a very different story.
Really?
The thing that's so fascinating is the brutality of Jayna Murray's injuries.
Right.
Over 300 wounds.
Oh, my God.
Multiple weapons
Good
compared
thinking.
to Norwood's relatively minor self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to add up at all.
Not really.
It seems like the forensic evidence is just screaming that something's not right.
Yeah.
Can you explain the blood splatter analysis for us?
Sure. So blood splatter analysis basically examines the patterns of bloodstains. And in this case, it indicated that Norwood had been upright for most of the night. Which, completely contradicts her story about being tied up and helpless.
So the physical evidence is already putting some big holes in Norwood's claims.
Yeah.
What about those bloody footprints that they found?
Well, there were two sets of bloody footprints.
Okay.
One matching Norwood's shoes,
All right.
and the other much larger, like a men's size 14 Reebok.
Wow.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Those Reeboks, they were found inside the store,
Good.
which means those intruders didn't exactly flee the scene.
And just to add to that, neither set of footprints led to the exits.
Right.
It almost feels like they were staged.
Yeah, that's definitely something investigators considered. And
Yeah.
the staged elements, they don't leave there.
What else?
Norwood claimed that there was a sexual assault, but forensic evidence debunked that too.
Really?
In fact,
Oh, wow.
there's evidence that Murray's clothing was cut
Oh, geez.
to make it look like an assault.
Wow.
That never happened.
Okay, so we have inconsistencies in Norwood's story, a staged crime scene, and evidence that directly contradicts her claims.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really unsettling.
What's that?
Did someone actually hear the attack as it was happening?
This is maybe the most chilling part of it all.
Okay.
Employees in the Apple store next door.
Oh, wow.
Remember, they share a wall with Lululemon?
Right.
They reported hearing an altercation through the wall that night.
Oh, my God.
They even have security footage of them reacting to the sounds.
Oh.
And they remember hearing things like, "Talk to me, don't do this."
Jeez.
And "God help me, please help me."
It's hard to even imagine hearing something like that.
Well, no, right?
And all of this is happening while a security guard is stationed nearby.
It's unbelievable.
Completely oblivious.
Yeah, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's awful.
Absolutely. So let's move outside the crime scene for a minute
Okay.
and talk about Murray's car.
Okay.
It was found abandoned at a farmer's market.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Was there anything in the car that helped investigators figure out what happened?
They found a mix of both Norwood and Murray's blood inside.
Oh, wow.
And when they confronted Norwood about it,
Yeah?
she said she was forced to move the car by the attackers.
Ooh.
Which, again, contradicts her original story.
Yeah, it seems like every piece of evidence just creates more contradictions.
Yeah.
And raises more questions.
Right. And maybe the biggest question
What's that?
is why?
Yeah. Why would she do this?
What could have driven Norwood to such extremes?
Yeah. What was the motive?
So the motive, it might surprise you.
Okay.
It seems to have come from something really small.
Really?
Yeah. A routine bag check.
A bag check?
Yeah.
Like to prevent shoplifting?
Exactly.
That
yeah.
seems like such a minor thing.
I know. It's hard to believe.
To lead to something so violent.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It seems that during a routine check, Murray found a pair of stolen pants in Norwood's bag. And later that night, she even contacted their manager, saying she would address it in the morning.
So we're talking about like a shoplifting incident
Yeah.
that turned into a murder.
It's a huge escalation.
Yeah, how does that even happen?
We can't know for sure what Norwood was thinking.
Right.
But maybe she panicked, afraid of getting caught.
Yeah.
Maybe shame or anger took over.
Right.
Or just a desperate need to protect her reputation.
It's a reminder that we don't always know what's going on with people.
Yeah, you never really know, do you?
But the level of planning to stage the crime scene?
Right.
That seems like premeditation.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Remember those oversized men's shoes?
Yeah.
She wore those to make those misleading footprints.
Right.
And then the chaotic environment, the self-inflicted injuries,
Right.
binding herself with zip ties.
Wow.
It all points to a really disturbing mix of desperation and planning.
Yeah, it's like she was trying to build a story to cover her tracks.
Yeah, like a believable narrative.
But as we've seen, the forensic evidence just tore it all apart.
Yeah, it really did.
What was the public's reaction like during the trial?
Oh, the trial was huge.
Okay.
I mean, everyone was following it.
Yeah.
The brutality of the crime,
Right.
this seemingly normal person.
Right.
It just captivated everyone.
Yeah.
The courtroom was packed every single day.
Wow.
And at first, Norwood's lawyers, they tried to maintain her innocence.
Okay.
They said there wasn't any DNA evidence
Mm-hmm.
linking her to the murder weapons.
Okay.
And they argued that the blood splatter analysis wasn't enough to prove she did it.
So they were trying to introduce reasonable doubt?
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe those masked intruders actually existed.
Right, exactly. But the prosecution, they presented their case really carefully.
Uh-huh.
Piece by piece, they just dismantled her story
Wow.
and exposed all her lies.
Okay.
The testimony from the Apple Store employees,
Right.
the blood evidence in Murray's car,
Yeah.
the staged crime scene.
It all adds up.
It all pointed to her.
Yeah.
Even those size 14 Reeboks. It turned out she had bought a similar pair for her boyfriend
Oh, wow.
just days before the murder.
It seems like every time she tried to hide something,
Yeah.
it just made her look more guilty.
It backfired, yeah.
So did her lawyers stick with that strategy?
As the trial went on
Yeah.
and more evidence came out, they changed their approach.
Okay.
Instead of trying to prove she was innocent,
Yeah.
they tried to get her a lighter sentence.
Okay.
They argued that the attack wasn't planned,
Okay.
that it was a crime of passion,
Yeah. Okay.
like a spur-of-the-moment thing, fueled by fear and panic.
So they were admitting she did it,
Right.
but trying to make her seem more sympathetic.
Yeah. They wanted the jury to see her as someone who made a mistake, not a cold-blooded killer.
Did it work?
The jury found her guilty of first-degree murder,
Wow.
but they didn't give her the death penalty.
Okay.
Instead, she got life in prison
Wow.
without parole.
That's a really serious punishment.
Yeah,
But it reflects how serious the crime was.
absolutely. This case wasn't just about murder.
Right,
It was
right.
about broken trust,
Yeah.
manipulating evidence,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get away with it.
And it reminds us that even with so much evidence,
Right.
people can still lie and deceive.
Denial can be a powerful thing.
It also makes you wonder about how random it all was.
Yeah.
Like if Murray hadn't found those pants,
Right.
if Norwood hadn't panicked,
Yeah.
would it have even happened?
It's a chilling thought.
It is.
It makes you realize that sometimes terrible things happen
Yeah.
and you don't understand why.
Right. We can analyze the evidence,
Yeah.
the psychology,
Yeah.
but sometimes there are no easy answers.
I know, and that can be the most disturbing part.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of crazy to think about how it all started
Yeah.
with a simple bag check.
I know, right?
Such a routine thing,
Totally.
but it set off this whole horrible chain of events.
It really shows you how, like, the ordinary can become extraordinary. Like, how everyday stuff can turn into something really dark.
Yeah, like you have these employees just doing their jobs.
Right. Just following the rules.
Yeah, and then suddenly
Ugh,
this unthinkable tragedy.
it makes you think about, like, all those unspoken rules we have.
Yeah.
Like, we assume everyone's going to act rationally.
Right.
But this case shows us that's not always true.
Yeah, like chaos can be hiding anywhere,
Exact.
just waiting to come out.
lurking beneath the surface.
It makes you wonder if things could have been different.
How so?
Like what if the bag check policy was different?
Hmm.
Or if they had different ways of dealing with shoplifting?
Yeah.
Could they have prevented this?
It's impossible to know for sure,
Right.
but it raises some important questions
Yeah.
about how even small choices
Mhm.
can have huge consequences.
It's like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
And it shows how important it is to always be evaluating
Yeah.
and improving our systems.
Absolutely.
Because even routine things can have unintended consequences. This case isn't just about the people involved.
No, it goes beyond that.
Yeah, it's about the systems,
Yeah.
the structures that might lead to these situations.
It's a much broader perspective.
Right. It
Yeah.
makes you think about how we can prevent this from happening again.
Exactly. Prevention is key.
Yeah.
Maybe if they had a better way of handling shoplifting, focused on communication and
Yeah.
de-escalation.
That could have made a difference.
Possibly.
It's scary to think about how a normal day
I know.
can turn into something so awful.
It really is.
Yeah, and it shows how important it is
What?
to create environments where people feel safe speaking up,
Yeah.
where they can address conflict,
Right.
and where we're thinking about potential risks.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot today.
We have.
Yeah. From the forensic evidence to
Huh.
the psychology,
Uh-huh.
ethical questions.
It's been a really interesting deep dive.
It has. This case is tragic.
Definitely a lot of loss.
Yeah. But it also shows us how strong we can be and how important forensic science is.
Yeah, to find the truth.
Right.
And we have to understand people,
Yeah. Their behavior.
why they do what they do.
And even when something terrible happens,
Yeah.
we still need to have compassion.
I think our listeners have learned a lot today.
I hope so.
It's not just a sensational story.
Yeah,
It's about what it means to be human.
it really is.
Mm.
The Lululemon murder.
Yeah.
It shows us that darkness can be anywhere.
Right. Even in ordinary places.
So as you go about your day,
Yeah.
remember this case.
Okay.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Mm.
Question what you think you know.
Yeah.
And never underestimate the power of being kind.
Thank you for guiding us through this deep dive.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Keep exploring this case in all its layers.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
And until next time,
Stay curious.
yeah, stay curious
Stay informed.
and stay safe.
We'll see you next time.